It's September already. It still feels like it's April. But with September comes fall and Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So I wanted to make this video and hopefully some more videos after your feedback based around this. Basically today I wanted to talk about something that is very prevalent, I think, still, and affects a lot of people, and that is stigma. This video we're going to talk about stigma, which is not a very fun thing to experience, and I want to make this to help other people who have experienced it. Specifically, I'm going to talk about stigma surrounding mental health and mental illness. The definition of stigma is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. So stigma comes with a lot of different things, not just mental health and mental illness. But because this is something that I've had to deal with for a very long time, I feel like I can talk about this. I just want to start off by saying that stigma can be internalized. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about, is the internalized stigma, what that means, where it comes from, what it is, and then the second half of this video will be how to deal with the internalized and the external stigma. Internalized stigma is believing that you are less and that your worth is less because of your diagnosis. It is hating yourself for being different. Another part of this internalized stigma, which is something I dealt with a lot, is believing that you'll never have a full life and you'll never be able to have a fulfilling life in the future. Obviously, things change all the time. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You never know what's around the corner. So telling yourself, because today I feel bad, my whole life is bad, is not going to help you. But I do understand it because I have definitely been there. I've definitely felt like, wow, because I have depression, because I have anxiety, I don't feel the joy that other people feel. Which, yeah, is true. Like, I'm not a happy person all day, every day. Like, little things can set me into a bad mood or make me extremely sad that other people would be like, oh well, whatever, I'll get over it. But because of my diagnoses and because I'm aware of that, I know how to deal with it. So if you've just been diagnosed, just give yourself time. It takes a long time to kind of find out all that you can handle and how to deal with things when they come your way. Another internalized stigma is revolving around medication, telling yourself that I don't need meds, I can do this all on my own. Which some people can. Of course, there are people that medication doesn't work for them. I'm one of those people. It has not worked for me, unfortunately. But I also know people who have taken medication and it has greatly improved their lives. So I would just say, you know, if you are open-minded to the idea of medication, give it a try. If you are having a horrible time on your medication, talk to your doctor. Just kind of weigh your options. But if you're telling yourself, well, so-and-so doesn't have to take medication and they're fine, yeah, well, that person might not have the diagnosis that you have, and that's okay. If you're different, that's totally okay. Everyone has their own things, and this is not a flaw. All you can do is your best. Do whatever you can to help yourself, get the support that you need, and just keep going. Let's talk about the external stigma. So this is what comes from other people. Like our friends, our family, even, you know, medical professionals, could be someone at your work. So this could come across as being called names like sensitive and weak, and being told that you just need to get over it, man up, just deal with it, you'll be fine. My favorite is when I'm anxious and someone says, just relax. Okay, if I could just relax in an instant, I would definitely do it. But because I am anxious, I can't just relax. I can't even do that on a normal day, so yeah, not gonna happen. Basically, the external stigma comes from people who are invalidating your feelings and invalidating your diagnosis. It's people that are judging you for it, so thinking that you're not qualified to do something just because you have a mental health diagnosis. That is stigma, and it's not true. You're capable of doing whatever you want to do. you can eventually do it. Maybe you can't do it today, maybe not tomorrow or next week, but you don't know how you'll be in a year from now. You could be recovered. You could be on new medication that's improving your life. You could have learned amazing skills from your therapist and be handling things so much better. So just don't give up. So now let's get to the part of overcoming it. What can you do to deal with this better? How can you deal with the internalized stigma you have on yourself better? I want to preface this by saying that this all comes from my personal experience. So what worked for me may not work for you. I was officially diagnosed at age 11 with anxiety and depression. So I am 22 now. So I have been dealing with this for 11 years. So I hope that some of this advice that has come out of that time can be helpful to you. Basically, like for me, sometimes my anxiety will be better than my depression, or my depression will be better than my anxiety. It really depends. Or sometimes they're really both terrible. Once you get a diagnosis, it can be a very difficult thing to hear, of course. But honestly, getting a diagnosis is so much better than not knowing what you have and not knowing how to handle it. And I'm really glad that I got the diagnosis when I did, because it's allowed me those 11 years to say, okay, this is a normal thing. It's normal for me to have these feelings and symptoms. How am I going to deal with this? And I've learned a lot, so hopefully this helps. The number one thing to do is to build yourself up. Tell yourself, I am capable. It does not matter what your diagnosis is. You are capable. If you want to go do the thing, do the thing. Doesn't matter what that thing is. It doesn't matter what kind of mental illness you have. You can do whatever you want to do. So every time that you tell yourself, well, I can't do this, I'll never be able to do this in the future because I have this, that's a lie. Your brain lies to you a lot. That's what I've learned. Yes, the brain is always talking, but it's just talk. It's not a fact. So your brain might tell you, oh, you're a loser and you can't do anything. That's not the truth. A huge one is to cut out toxicity. Now, I would say cut out the toxic people, like the people who are not understanding of your diagnosis, that are not helpful, don't care, don't want to help you, and they're judging you, calling you names. But sometimes you have to live with a person like that, like maybe a family member. So instead of just cutting them completely out of your life, if that's not possible, try to put up a shield to those words that they tell you that you know are not real. They have no validity, they have no meaning and no value to you. This is what I have done over the years. I have taught myself every time that someone says something that is stigmatizing, I just tell myself, oh, they're ignorant, they don't know. They just don't know, that's okay. They might learn, maybe I can tell them or teach them one day. Or maybe they'll figure it out themselves. Instead of me breaking down, crying, feeling worse about myself, I just tell myself, okay, look at the source of the information. They do not know what they're talking about. So that means you cannot take it in as a truth because it's not the truth for you. Maybe that person believes what they believe, but you cannot let yourself believe those negative words. And that brings me to my next one, which is not believing all the negative thoughts your brain gives you. Every time that your brain starts spewing those negative thoughts, telling you that you're worthless and you can't do anything and you should just give up, fight back if you can. Do your best. Tell yourself, that's not true. And then when these negative thoughts come up, ask yourself, would I ever say this to one of my friends or someone I cared about? Would you ever tell your friend, hey, you're worthless and you can't do anything? Definitely not. People's brains just do weird things sometimes, and we're still trying to figure out why and how. But whenever I'm in a negative thought spiral, I have the option now, because I know how to deal with it better. I have the option to kind of just like go with it. But over the years, I've gained another option, which is to stop it in its tracks and say, excuse me, no, I don't believe that. You can think what you want to think, but I know the truth. That's just me talking to my brain. But yeah, so anytime that I have like really negative thoughts, if I'm able to, because sometimes it gets to the point where I can't stop it, it's just gonna go and I kind of have to write it out and let it happen, and journal or do whatever would help me. If that happens, I would suggest doing an action that distracts your brain. Go wash some dishes, go outside, pick some flowers maybe. You can do a lot of different things, but just make sure that you are doing something that distracts your brain. Do something that shuts off the noise in your head, that makes you have to focus on another thing and you can't focus on your negative thoughts. You might find that after 10 minutes of doing another activity, those negative thoughts are quieter, or maybe they're even gone. So I would really suggest that. The last thing that I want to mention is about the future. So this kind of goes along with like believing like your whole life is going to be horrible and different in a bad way. Instead of focusing on that, focus on like the really exciting things that are coming up. Like maybe there's a new movie that's coming out and you can't wait to see it, and guess what? It's next year. That means you have to hang on. That means you have to keep fighting just to see your movie. I do this with movies, with music albums, with events or holidays that I enjoy, like Halloween. Hey, it's coming. But yeah, maybe one of your siblings is gonna get married, or your dog's birthday is coming up. You want to be around for that, and you want to look forward to it. So you can find those events in your life that have a meaning to you, or just make you happy and just make you excited like movies do for me. And just focus on those. Whenever you have a bad day, just say, okay, well, today sucks, but guess what? It's one more year till that movie comes out. It does take time to be able to do a lot of these that I've mentioned, but if you're persistent and if you are really focused on this and you just want to improve your life, I know that you can do it, because I did it and I didn't think I could do it, but I did it as a child. So if little me could do it, you definitely can do it. Alright, that's all for today's video. I'm so happy that I'm able to talk about this with you guys, and I hope that this is at least a little bit helpful. I definitely plan on doing more videos talking about mental health and mental illness in the future. So if you have a certain subtopic you want me to do a video on, please comment it. I read all my comments, so I really appreciate when people give me feedback or have questions for me, and I love answering them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye!